Tracked Shoot to Survive is dropping this week on Meta Quest 3 and Quest 3S on November 13th, and the developers People Can Fly gave me the go-ahead to drop some first impressions for you all. And in today's video, I've played about 4 hours, and in that time, I've learned there's clearly a lot of green hell in Tracked. It's a survival game where you and your sister are in a plane, and you get shot down by some evil cartel while heading out on a trip to spread your father's ashes. When you awake, you find out your sister has been kidnapped, and I think you, the player, were mistakenly left for dead. Just like green hell and other survival games, your thirst, hunger and health have to be monitored pretty closely, but this can be adjusted when you start the game with an easy, medium and hard setting available. But it doesn't really explain what's affected by what you choose, so I went with the medium choice, which is the game's default. You have to combine things to aid your survival, but I think a lot of us, at least from the trailers we were shown, are hoping this is similar to green hell, but more of an action game combined with survival elements. Now I could be wrong about that, so let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments. And to be clear, I am not a big fan of many survival games in VR. They always feel pretty insufferable after a while, and this is mostly due to a lack of information given to the player about what things to do, where to go, or how things work. And I wanted to mention this because for some people, I believe that's exactly why they like these types of games. So please keep that in mind as we go on. I also want to add, this is the review build, so all reviews going up on November 13th will be based on this version we're talking about today. The developers also let me know this is a 10 to 15 hour game, and they are aware of some issues, but none of those issues they listed actually came up in my playtime. So far, Tracked Shoot to Survive has been a mixture of good, bad and pretty frustrating, and if the game launches in the condition that I've played, they may unfortunately get some kickback. So let's first go over the graphics, because as I said earlier, Tracked Shoot to Survive is a game for Meta Quest 3 and Quest 3S only, and from what I've played, I can see some proof of that. The world itself looks pretty good and at some points really nice, but there's also a lack of polish if you look too closely. The world environmental sound is great though, and wandering around at night in the dark, this was before I found some batteries to craft a headlamp, is genuinely unnerving. And when it's dark, it is absolutely pitch black, and this caught me completely off guard due to being so engrossed in my current mission. You have a full body in this game and hands that look good and they feel good to use. You have a stamina gauge, but as usual, your character's stamina is of someone who has never run more than 20 feet in their life, and therefore they become completely exhausted, making you feel extremely useless, and there's wildlife everywhere that wants to kill you, especially at night. Wolves are, at least at the moment in my progress of the game, the main predators, but it only takes 2 arrows to take them down. I also killed a pigeon, a beaver, a cat type thing and a moose, and these can be cut up or literally pulled apart for meat, leather, bones, or in the bird's case, you get meat and feathers. The guns look good and good to reload, and the bow, which can take some time to get used to, is very effective and it feels good to use. There's tons of sticks laying around for you to craft basic arrows using your knife, and this feels again good to do. There's a book on your chest which has all the information stored, like your map, objectives, notes that you found and achievements, and there is an in-game help guide, but as you're going to find out, I didn't actually find it that helpful. There's also a crafting system back at your dad's cabin, and I do feel a lot of your time will be spent back at this cabin, because this is where you can do all your crafting, and this crafting system is ripped straight out of Saints and Sinners, and this is no bad thing in my opinion. Your backpack is also set up exactly the same as Saints and Sinners, and to be fair, I feel The Walking Dead did a lot of this the best anyway, but in Tracked, you have to physically create your items, like covering bits of cloth with tree sap that you've collected with your knife to create a bandage, and this is a good point to start with my critical feedback. My first experience of frustration started with the rifle. I needed to pull apart the broken bits to then start repairing it with the new bits, but one part on the rifle didn't show up as highlighted as something to remove, so I had to message the devs to work out what I had to do, and from this point it all started to go a bit downhill. Creating ammo is cool, but after I made some gunpowder, I had no idea how the game wanted me to do it. Visibly it looked like you pick up the gunpowder you just created and then tip it into the top of the bullet making machine. You then place your bullet casing and then press, but instead the game didn't want me to do that. It just assumed that I understood what the icon meant, and it meant it would automatically use all gunpowder in my possession, which is fine if it's made clear to the player that's what you want to happen. You can fast travel back to places you've discovered on the map, and this costs you food, but you can't ever sleep. So if you fast travel at say 8 PM at night when it's really dark, it takes you 6 hours from wherever you are to get back to your dad's cabin. But in reality, reality, it would probably only take you 1 hour in the game's sped up time to actually walk there. So without a sleeping system, you're then stuck waiting for the time to pass till it's morning again. Now this issue can be offset when you eventually build the headlight. But as I said earlier, walking at night is more dangerous, so why would you take that risk if you don't have to? Another issue I faced is health. The only way you can get back your health is by using medicine, which is very sparse. So once my health hit 20% and I run out of these pills, I was forever stuck at this low health point. Bandages heal wounds, but this only stops you losing your health and doesn't give you any health back. And considering most of the places you come across have a bed in them, I would have thought this would have been a great opportunity to rest, not only to heal slightly, but also give the player the ability to manipulate the time of day you went out hunting or to make some more in-game progress. Back to the crafting table, there's recipes so you can actually upgrade the tables themselves, which if you do it unlocks more new recipes. I could do level 2, but for some reason level 3 simply did not happen, even though the game told me I had all the resources to do it. And even if I did do level 3, it was clear that there was still no way to increase my health. So I started looking around to see if there was anything in the cabin that I could do, and that's when I discovered cooking. So I chucked 2 steaks and a mushroom into a cooking pot, because luckily my dad had left the stove on, and I was really hoping this would actually give me some health back. But for some reason all I got in return was a dish that would actually take even more of my health away, so I was simply left with putting up with the low health situation for as long as possible. There was also a side mission to create a fire and cook an animal, and this was kind of part of the beginning tutorial. But the last item, which is called a cat's tail, didn't exist anywhere throughout my playtime, including the point on the map it took me to find the item. The next red flag was to find some caves which literally seemed impossible to get to, and there was one area on the map I had already visited twice before. But when I went back, thinking this was the way to the caves, the door was locked, therefore preventing my progress. To add to all of this, the in-game menu system, like the book and the bag, can feel very clunky and a bit unresponsive. The animal animations are pretty low effort, and in general while playing, things just suddenly don't happen or don't work. Overall, it's been pretty frustrating to play, and again, I feel like I'm playing a game that is at least a few months from actually being able to release. And it also feels like it's only been tested internally, where the people who made the game know how a lot of this stuff works. I want to add that I really want to like this game, and I believe the premise is really good and it's got a compelling story. But so far, it's now a game I'm probably going to be putting on the back burner till I see some big improvements. Because right now, if no one told me this game was releasing, I would say this game is at a beta stage at best. And I would advise the developers get some proper external playtesting before releasing. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, and if you find this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.